For my final presentation, I will be conducting Ruth Elaine Schramm's three-part arrangement of the French-Canadian folk song J'entends le moulin, which translates to I hear the mill or windmill. Based on the English text, this seems to be about life working at the mill and the pattern and the sounds that they hear over and over all day long. The onomatopoeia tika tika taka is sung throughout the piece, imitating the sounds the workers heard. The piece is arranged in the key of G minor and is in 2/2 or cut time with a tempo of 88 beats per minute. In the recording that will be shown in just a moment, we did not sing up to tempo. I have a very talented group of vocalists that thankfully learned this piece for me and the parts quickly enough to help me finish this class strong. In one class period, they learned it, implemented the dynamics I asked for, and performed to my conducting for this video. To assemble the recording, I recorded the piano part separately, then played it while I conducted the choir. Yet another reason we went slightly slower than the marked tempo. As a piece that would normally require a 2-beat pattern, there were a few measures that I chose to subdivide into a 4-beat pattern. The piece as a whole has a legato, smooth, connected feeling to it, but I wanted the measures that I conducted in 4 to encourage more articulation, and there are a few crescendos throughout those measures. I used my right hand to keep the beat, and my left hand I used for cueing each section at the appropriate time. The piece starts with the chorus, goes into the first verse, a repeat of the chorus, verse 2, and then sings the chorus again, but in a round style, and when all 3 sections are stagger starting there. It begins with the sopranos, you add the altos, then adds the baritones, and it requires the conductor to be ready for those cues that come quickly. The song ends with a variation of the chorus that crescendos all the way to fortissimo to strongly end the piece. With many crescendos in this arrangement, I attempt to conduct bigger patterns for louder dynamics. Over the past 8 weeks in this course, I feel as if I've grown in many ways as a conductor. The first and greatest way I've grown is the fact that I do feel more confident in my conducting. Before I started this class, my comfort zone in my classroom was really sitting behind the piano and picking out notes for each part to learn by hearing it just over and over again. But now I feel more sure in my conducting choices. I feel more prepared for how to teach a piece from start to finish, and I have an overall awareness of the positive changes I've made in my conducting style. Another way I've grown as a conductor is realizing the need to practice conducting more often. I do have a tendency of not only sitting behind the piano to teach parts, but then I would also just accompany the choir throughout each trimester and wouldn't do much conducting until a few weeks right before the concert. This was mostly due to my lack of confidence, but also my lack of practice and preparation. But now I see the value in practicing so that not only am I more comfortable, but also my choirs are more used to my conducting style and they know exactly what I expect of them as singers for each piece. Lastly, because of my time in this course, I have a desire to study each score that I'm teaching to my group. This helps me spot patterns in music, repeated sections, trouble areas, and gives me a chance to mark entrances or cutoffs and dynamics, other cues. The piece that I just conducted was sung by my 6th and 7th grade students at my winter concert last year, and for the sake of this assignment, I taught it to my small group of 8th through 12th graders in one class period. This was only possible because 3 of the students already knew the piece, and the rest of the students are really strong musicians as sight readers and singers, but also because I was really familiar with the entire score and I knew how each specific voice part went. So I was able to sing it along with them and without the piano, and it only required small amounts of repetition before the entire piece was learned. In fact, one of my students even made the comment that this was really a good way to learn a piece. It was fast-paced, and that was all could be attributed to the preparation that I felt in beginning the instruction of the piece. In regards to technique, the biggest takeaway that I gained was learning how to have left and right hand independence. It was really easy for me to fall into the pattern of both hands mirroring the entire time, when there's so much more that my left hand can do for cues and dynamic changes. Although this is something I'm still working on mastering, I do feel as if I've grown in this area. I've also grown to be more of a listening conductor. As a vocalist myself, it's easy to sing along with a choir or another voice part in hopes that they hear you and they match what you sing. But often, because I'm singing along, I'm unable to even hear my choir sing. I've been working on simply mouthing lyrics or giving cues for lyrics before they begin so that one, I'm not over singing and hurting my voice, but also so that I can fully listen to the sound that's being produced and I can shape conducting style so that the desired sound comes out of the choir. I try to be very conscientious now of the inner voice parts that can really easily be overlooked. As a soprano, it's easy to follow along with the melody and not pay much attention to other parts. So one of my goals for this school year is to sing less, listen more, and focus on those inner voicings. I've learned that preparation plays a big role in being respected as a leader. If each day I just wing it in class in rehearsal time and I'm learning the piece along with the students, then I won't be able to gain as much respect as I could if I'm prepared, if I know the score, and if I'm confident in it. I even noticed as I was teaching my group this time around that because of the preparation and because we were able to move from task to task, the students were attentive and they were listening and they were eager to keep learning and they were really proud of what they had accomplished. I learned that it's okay to ask my group of singers what is more clear. So for this project, I said, was it more clear to just keep the 2 pattern throughout the piece, or does it really help you to articulate these measures when I break it into the subdivided 4 pattern? And the students agreed that the 4 was more clear, and so that was one of the reasons I decided to go ahead and do that. So I'm thankful for what this course has taught me through this summer, and I'm excited to implement what I've learned in my 2nd year of teaching.